tens of billions in government and council pandemic spending unaccounted for as local authorities' auditing scandal worsens. We're going to read into this more from Byline Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an article from Byline Times with the headline that tens of billions in government and council pandemic spending unaccounted for as local authorities' auditing scandal worsens. A new report by the Public Accounts Committee lambasts the Treasury for being too passive in chasing up the cash, resulting in inaccurate figures. This I hate to use the word that this should not surprise us, but at the same time, this shouldn't be as well. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share across social media so other people are aware of this video too. And the reason why I say that I'm not surprised by this is because we can, from the amount of articles, news stories, clips and comments that have been made continuously over the last 14 years by Conservative MPs, those who have worked with them, those who have seen outside of them, there is so much mounting evidence that shows the stench of corruption within the Conservative government, the Conservative Party itself. And the fact that the Treasury have not been chasing the cash, the money that has been lost through the pandemic. They have recouped a little bit, but they haven't really pushed out of their way to chase up it. Especially to say, and I'm alleging here, those with ties to the Conservative government, the Conservative Party itself. I think we can go out on a limb and say that those ones there, yeah, they're kind of being let go by the Treasury. And our hope is that, of course, Labour do plan on to create a task force to recoup this money back. Although my gut feeling is that if that does happen, obviously what they're going to do, these people who have ripped off the taxpayer, and they're just going to get this money and take it out of the UK, or they'll take all their money and they'll move on. They'll take it out of the UK and they'll take it offshore. They themselves will go offshore, which makes it impossible for the UK government to chase them. You know, like there's Rachel Reeves saying they're going to be chasing after these people. They only need to take the money out of the country, and it's going to be near to next impossible for them to find it. They'll split the money. There's lots of things. It's going to be very hard for them to track it. Obviously, if the money's still in the UK, they'll be able. I believe. They'll be able to find and track the money down. But I think most of them will be smart enough to know to take the money out of the UK and take themselves out of the UK until things calm down potentially. So that they can get away with it. And that's the infuriating thing, guys. And the Conservatives know that the taxpayer's been ripped off. They know that we've been ripped off here. They know they have, the Conservatives. They know they have, and they're laughing about it. They're laughing that their friends and associates are richer, wealthier, and happier off now, while we have less money in our coffers as a result of the Conservatives and their actions in power. And this just continues that lambastment of it, and it really, really is. So, some 55 billion spent by the government and local councils during the pandemic year remains unaudited and unaccounted for 2 years later. A new report by MPs has revealed. The House of Commons Public Accounts Committee lambasts the Treasury for being too passive in chasing up the cash, which has resulted in inaccurate figures being published by Whitehall and making it difficult for ministers to plan future spending. The Treasury report on the latest whole of government accounts for 2020-2021, an annual report comprehensively listing all public expenditures for each financial year, was published 27 months late and is incomplete, inaccurate and too long delayed, according to the committee. See, where is the need to chase this up as well? It's like nobody gives a toss. Nobody cares about this money. This is the thing. Like, they don't care. No, where's the hurry? Like, come on. Like, we need this money. Like, the public need this money. We've got public services crumbling right now. We could really do with the money. And it also raises questions of whether the government will ever be able to account for the £372 billion spent by ministers on the pandemic, because the Treasury plans to end monitoring of coronavirus spending next year. I'm kind of hoping that Labour will continue the monitoring, and I think they should. But whether they will be able to or not be another matter. This will particularly affect money loans to private industries, such as through the Bounce Back Loan Scheme and money loan to the Cultural Recovery Scheme, worth $1.57 billion to save theatres and entertainment venues and National Heritage Organisation from bankruptcy because of the lockdown. All these low-interest loans did not have to start to be repaid until this year and are due to be completely paid off by 2040. The report reveals that the number of public bodies providing no data is rising, making future reports even more inaccurate unless action is taken. Previous year, 137 bodies did not submit data. The number has now risen to 155. For the first time, two large public pension schemes, the Scottish NHS and Scottish Teachers, did not submit any data. They have liabilities of more than £135 billion between them. The local government pension scheme was late in submitting its accounts. Failure to audit local authorities, already highlighted as a growing scandal by bylinetimes, forms large parts of the problem. Yeah, we talked so many times about councils going bust this year in England. The previous year, 630 authorities, some dating back to 2015-2016, did not submit accounts that have been independently audited. Some have now submitted a combined account for 2 years, which may not be accurate. The committee warns that the system of local auditing, which is close to breaking point, is resulting in poor quality data for central government, and that this risks spreading to other sectors. Just 5 of the 467 local government entities met the statutory deadline for publication of their 2022-2023 audit options, and this week it was revealed that councils were £98 billion in debt. The government provided a £500 million bailout to help them survive. It's still like we said, yeah, when this bailout's not enough for councils as it is. Labour's Dame Heg Miller MP, the committee chair, said, if the whole of government accounts didn't exist, we would have to invent it, a high-level overpay providing an overall snapshot of the nation's finances. If produced accurately and reliably, it could be both an essential resource for decision makers and for scrutiny from Parliament and the public. The Treasury has made great progress on delivering this in a timely fashion, but the delays in this report takes us back years. The Treasury needs to be far more front-footed in cultivating the WGA and follow up with public bodies where data is missing. But this report further underlines the committee's continued warnings of the crisis in local government finances and the risk it poses to central government and other bodies. Performances in this area continue to deteriorate at a time of our report, and a credible plan must be urgently implemented if we are to prevent the rot continuing to spread. I couldn't agree more. This was written by David Heckley there, for those who are wondering. They need. It just feels like that. It just feels like it's kind of it's sitting there. You know, this report is sitting there, and the accountability of so much funds is just sitting there again. And how much longer can it sit there? You know, how much longer is it going to sit there, guys? That's the thing. I have the question for you guys. How much longer? You know, we are in desperate need of more funding. We all know that. And while obviously we welcome additional funds that the government has recently introduced, it's nowhere near going to plug the gaps that councils need. They're in so much crisis right now. So much money is in desperate need. And I both feel for these councils, because these councils who have already gone through 14 years of austerity, of cuts and cutbacks by the government, and you look at the states they're in now, they're struggling just to get some of the basic necessity services going through. It's really so disheartening to think of. We got to keep on talking about these things, guys, because if we don't talk about these things, they're just going to continue to rot, because there are people out there who are struggling, and they need support. And councils and local authorities need to have the funds they need to be able to run the essential services out there. So what do you guys think? The amount of money that's been lost and unaccounted for, do you guys think we can recover the majority of it? Is it possible? My gut feeling is that some of it will end up going outside the UK, if I'm honest. But there is hope that we could still recover it. But what do you guys honestly think about this and this article, guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Hit the like button, we greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so other people are aware of it, and hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified of when I upload another video or when I go live. And subscribe, because it really does help. And if you want to financially support me, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for just as little as 99p, or joining me on Patreon for exclusive content there as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.